Hi everyone and welcome back to the Startup series. I'm Sophia, your host, and it's always exciting to jump on and do these. I can tell you about some of the antics I've had as a startup founder with no funding. But no, the topic for this week is really looking at marketing as a startup founder. I think that we get told by social media, by Gary Vaynerchuk, by all of these role models, Stephen Bartlett, and people that you have to put in the work when you're a startup founder. But what on earth does that actually mean? And I think this is something I really wanted to break down because it's so difficult knowing what to do, also doing everything, and also just managing yourself, your life, your mental health. I think that's really important. So for example, with me, I'm a startup founder, no funding apart from the finance that I put in myself through my day job. And I do need to do everything myself. Now, what on earth does that actually mean? Doing everything yourself. And this was something I didn't understand. I wrote down everything that you need to do in a business, and it was so bloody overwhelming. You've got commercials, you've got managing the tech if you're building an app, you have marketing, you have there's branding, the message you're portraying, it's absolutely everything. And it's so bloody overwhelming. And I just feel like sometimes somebody needs to tell me what I should be focusing on. But then again, it's so subjective and it's so non-specific because for every founder, it's going to be different. So for example, with me, my app, it's an influencer marketing, it's an influencer discovery and campaign management app. Now, I love social media, I love YouTube, I have a passion for it. And this was, do you know what? This was really interesting going into that whole rhetoric of founders have to do everything. Because I kind of thought, okay, well, that's ridiculous. I won't have a life if I have to do everything because I still work full time too. I don't have the luxury of having, that time back. I just don't have it. So what can I do? What can I do to be able to do everything for my startup, but also manage my life in a way that makes me feel human and makes me feel connected to the world and not so detached. When I first started, that rhetoric of doing everything played with me. So I would end relationships, I would end friendships, I'd lock myself in the house and just focus on the startup and my day job. And it wasn't sustainable. And then throughout the last year, I've really learned how to balance everything because my mentor said this to me, Lee. She said, if you're not mentally there and you're not feeling yourself, your startup will suffer because you are your startup in the beginning. It doesn't matter what people say, you are your startup. So you have to put time aside for yourself. Yes, it's true that if you're not doing it, no one else will. But then again, if you're not even there to do it for a long period of time because you can't, then your business is stuck. So anyway, going back to that, I learned balance this year. And then through that, I experimented. I thought, okay, I'm going to try and do everything in marketing, and inbound marketing. And I love it. I love marketing. It's my passion. It's my life. It's my day job. It's everything I do. I live for it. So in my own life and with my startup, I started writing blogs. I was on Instagram. I was on social media, TikTok, everything, just trying to post so much. LinkedIn, just everything, running my website, inbound marketing. It was madness. And after a while, I thought, no, I'm just going to focus on a couple of things and do them really well. I know we're supposed to be doing everything, but I can't do that. TikTok really requires consistency, but everyday consistency. It's not just you can post once a week. It's an everyday consistent batch content and content that's almost like you living. You don't need to put too much into it. It's just you living, and it should be really simple, to be honest. It should be, but I think for me, I didn't always feel like my content was of value. For example, like if I've just been crying because I've had a bad day, that would bang on TikTok. But for me personally, I just didn't want to show that side of me, and that's a choice. I think sometimes we can be labelled through the content we share. So, you know, what was I wanting to share? And I still haven't decided yet, so I've left it. With Instagram, I think, so, you know, I have someone that runs my Instagram account for Endorse Me, my business, and that's really sustainable. We share just general content. It's not too intense. Again, that platform, it's great, but I don't value it as much as I value like LinkedIn. And with YouTube, I watch so much YouTube. It's so bad. I watch about 6 or 7 hours of YouTube. And I prefer making content for YouTube than I do for any of the other channels. So I think that that's something I'm really embodying and just doing all the experiments first and then seeing what sticks and what's sustainable. That's been really lovely to go through. And now I feel like every time I'm going to work for Endorse Me for the company, I just love it so much. Writing the blogs, sharing them on LinkedIn, talking to people and discussing it, and then doing this, the podcast, and sharing it on YouTube. It's the most joyous thing. So what I would say is that if you're a startup founder and you feel so bloody overwhelmed because you're being told through social media and other investors that you have to do everything, remember that yes, you do, but do what sticks and build on it. I think that's the best advice I can give. Look after your health, look after yourself, and focus on what matters, because the rest of it will come in time. I think it's always been important for me to do one thing really well. I used to be a jack of all trades, and now I just wanted to be a master of one. And it's just been the most incredible experience because I can try my hand at everything. But that's it for today. That's just what I wanted to share. But I'd love to hear your views on it and see if anybody else is out there and they're overwhelmed. And also, what if you are someone that is doing everything and you're thriving, definitely let me know. But for my Spotify listeners, please follow and feel free to drop me an email and let me know what you think of the podcast. For my YouTubers, please subscribe and like this. And yeah, I love sharing content with you guys, and just let me know if there's anything else you want me to talk about. With my own business, just a quick update. I was supposed to launch, but again, as we all know, I am a bootstrapping founder that made a deal with my tech guy that we'd pay him through revenue once it's built. So fingers crossed it's built next week. But I think that's something else that I wanted to discuss, which is what I'll talk about next week, is how do you manage a team that you cannot yet pay? But I'll go into that next week. But thank you so much. Like and subscribe and have a lovely week. Bye.